Hello everyone, and today I've prepared something really interesting for y'all. Right now, we are literally overwhelmed with so much information regarding not only Season 25, but Episode 78 as well. And I already promised you to make several separate theory videos where I'll discuss in detail those secrets I didn't have time to fully cover in my main analysis video, where I only pointed them out but didn't say much about them specifically. I mean, that analysis already turned out to be 40 minutes long, you know. So today, I will talk about one of the secrets that Season 25 presented to us. And it's the whole backstory involving G-Man and Astro Juggernaut back when they were in the same faction and used to be good friends. Are they really have good potential to reunite on the Alliance's side against former oppressors? How exactly did they get to know each other, and why they became such good friends? What connection can still be tying those two, and why it's extremely important for Skibidi Toilet Plot? Today I have really a lot of things to uncover, so get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end because it's going to be very interesting, and let's go. And be sure to also give this video a like and subscribe to my channel where I make a lot of Skibidi Toilet content while you're waiting for the next episode to get released. Okay, so if you are subscribed now, let's continue. And first of all, let's talk about everything we knew about G-Man's past and his connections to the Astro Toilets before the iconic Season 25 dropped. So we could suspect that Jimmy, together with Skibidi scientists, probably didn't belong to planet Earth since the very first episodes of Skibidi Toilet. It is pretty much possible that both of them used to be a part of an Astro faction, and not just Jimmy. But for now, we have only G-Man's certified proof of being a member of said faction, while the Skibidi scientists' origins are still rumors. Because regarding him, there is also a possibility that he could have actually been a worker at Alpha Hills Complex before the virus outbreak, which turned the majority of its inhabitants into mutants or toilets, like the military squad G members used to be a part of. And that could also explain why the secret agent communicated with Skibidi scientists directly in Episode 70 before deciding to dispose of him. And Season 25 also showed us that the secret agent and his, well, let's call them employees, are directly tied to the Alpha Hills program. Okay, but even if Skibidi scientists could be a human being living on Earth and working on the secret governmental project before the start of this war, we definitely cannot say the same thing about Jimmy. And I am more than sure that he actually came from the different planet and not the Earth. What do I mean by this, though? Well, I also believe that G-Man had never been a part of Astro faction to begin with. So we need to get the story of G-Man's past back when he was a part of Astro Toilet's faction in a role of a commander. But the thing is that we're being fed new information about him piece by boom. And a lot of stuff about his personality and his past are still not revealed to us completely. And that's why I'm entering the guessing territory here. Or in other words, you're about to hear my own theories and predictions about how Jimmy turned out to be in an Astro faction in the first place. Why did he eventually break out of it and came to Earth in order to gather his own Skibidi army? And most importantly, how he and Astro Juggernaut got to know each other and became friends in the end. What actually happened behind the screen and why it is so important for the future Skibidi Toilet plot. Okay, so let's go step by step here. He got to this faction, and it most likely happened against his will. We know that Astro Toilets are conquering species and literal raiders. They do not have any negotiations with planets that they visit. They conquer them right away with raw power. And based on their bold behavioral pattern from the latest episode, I think it's safe to say that they already conquered dozens, if not hundreds of planets. And the stock of their army rises every day. Why? Well, because they surely take captives from the planets they conquer, and then they must have been brainwashing those captives really heavily in order to erase their true personality and build the military one, which Astro faction requires. I think that Astro Toilets are also pretty damn great about manipulation tactics, the psychology of breaking one's will and submitting poor victims of their raids to their own ideology. Sounds pretty dark, isn't it? And what must have happened to G-Man probably was even crazier. From Episode 74, we know that at one point, G-Man truly served his role as a military commander, absolutely ruthless in battles, and he was probably the one who helped conquering many more worlds. And in this period of his life, he had the exact same core shell that Titan TV Man has got in full Episode 77, and I already made a video talking about this and about the nature of this core screwer they both used to have. So, G-Man was most likely a victim whose planet was taken by Astro Toilets, and then he was forced to join the very faction that ruined him homeland. And here, I can draw two possibilities to discuss about what happened next. The first one is that Jimmy really underwent some sort of heavy psychological manipulations and gave up his initial personality as the price for staying alive. And as he was obedient enough to Astro Toilets, they initially take him in his own rows, firstly as a smaller fry in the organization. But then, as time passed, G-Man managed to get the status of the commander, which was really prestige. Maybe he totally forgot about his previous life, and instead got succumbed by the Astro faction and its nature of raids, and he was really good on the battlefield, and thus got up the career ladder, so to speak. But to be honest with you, I like the second option much better. So I believe that G-Man did undergo psychological manipulation, but only made it seem as if he agreed to his oppressors' terms and joined their army. But in reality, he always carried the flames of hatred towards those who destroyed his home planet, and kept destroying other planets too. But G-Man was probably smart as hell, and could realize that he needed to wait for a right moment to resist those oppressors. So he only acted a role of being a royal soldier, agreeing to do everything Astro authorities asked him to do, with only one goal in mind: to become an example of authority himself. And so he successfully did, and as he became the commander, he easily withdrew tons of exclusive knowledge and information regarding Astro Toilet's weak spots, strengths, and secrets, also including their scientific development and upgrades. But surprisingly enough, he also got himself a friend in a form of Astro Juggernaut. They definitely came from different planets though, because, well, Juggernaut and his offsprings are literal furries, so they couldn't be fellow countrymen, but probably got closed up by having the same mindset or moral principles. And by their conversation in Season 25, I can safely say that they were real buddies, but of course their friendship got tarnished when G-Man fled. So I believe that one day, he finally waited until the perfect moment to sabotage Astro Toilets he so successfully fooled, and fled to planet Earth they most likely planned to conquer next. Or maybe Astro Toilets came here only while chasing G-Man. That's also possible. So on Earth he planned building an army to resist the oppressive regime of Astros, and his departure was totally perceived as betrayal by the Astro authorities, leading to the UFO toilet labeling him a traitor in episode 60. And as Jaggy still remained loyal to the faction, his ways with Jimmy were parted, at least for some time. In any case, after finally cutting his ties with Astro Toilets, G-Man arrived to Earth, which he probably saw as the perfect background for building a strong army, which would be able to eventually resist the faction he used to work on. And he definitely used some of the stolen knowledge and technologies before fleeing the Astro base. And I believe that it could be G-Man exactly who gave birth to the so-called Skibidi virus, which spread all over the planet so rapidly. Or in other words, the virus was external threat and got originated outside of the Earth, contrary to what we used to think around a year ago or something like that. And well, how is the origin of the Skibidi virus actually connected to Alpha Hills Project? To be honest with you guys, right now this is the biggest blank space I'm eager to fill in with some badass theory, because right at this moment, Boom still keeps his main plot reveal hidden. But I'm pretty much certain that Skibidi Scientist could have somehow connected to G-Man upon his arrival to Earth. And as a worker of Alpha Hills Project, the scientist could have agreed to unite his exclusive knowledge with G-Man's, and that's how the whole virus outbreak occurred. What was the motivation for the scientist to do so, though? We still don't really know. Maybe he was a real sucker for something outwardly or alien. Or maybe he was a little bit psycho who wanted to have some grand experiment all over the planet. And maybe the scientist actually considered to be a traitor in Alpha Hills, and that's why the secret agent wasn't so happy for helping him out or making him stay alive. And talking of G-Man's motivation, though, I think that he either always despised the threat that Astro Toilet served as, or he started despising them more and more with time that he spent being a military commander and leading campaigns across various interstellar fronts. But on the other hand, if he was so worried about the fates of other planets and its inhabitants, why he so cold-bloodedly chose earthly humans as mere subjects for his virus experiments. He literally turned humans into the future soldiers for his army to oppose the Astro Toilets. And mind you that it's basically the exact same thing Astro Toilets can be accused of. So, did G-Man eventually become just as evil and heartless as his oppressors he hated so much and didn't even notice it? Does he consider himself a good guy or a bad guy? That's what I'm really curious about, but does it matter at this point? Right now, the Astro Toilets are still the biggest threat on the map, And I think that even such a loyal guy as Juggernaut realizes that he and his kin aren't safe around them anymore, as those freaks almost lost themselves over the ongoing confrontation with Jimmy and his army. And besides, we still shouldn't forget that in the first place, G-Toilet found an ally in Astro Juggernaut, as both of them were victims of the faction's tyranny. So their shared experiences and mutual desires could easily forge a strong bond and unite them in the upcoming episodes. So I think it would be really smart of Juggernaut to switch sides now, when the real heat is coming. And don't even get me started on G-Man's secret weapon, as that's the topic for another video. And what do you guys think about Jimmy and his dark past? And that was all for today. Write in the comments below your own opinion, as I am always interested to read what my viewers think. And be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos to entertain yourselves while you're waiting for episode 78 to get released. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!